Hey guys, welcome to the TechSource.tv. Now today we have with us a full tower case. This is the long-awaited refresh to the Phantom. This is the Phantom 820 by NZXT. So today we're going to unbox it / first look this behemoth of a case. So stick around. Phantom 820. Now, the original Phantom, when it came out, we did review it a long time ago. Sometimes after it did come out, I bought it for a friend, and we built the system in him for him. And as soon as the Phantom came out, he's like, "I need to have that case." And literally, the styling of it was unreal. I'd like to call this, when I first saw the case, I was like, "This kind of looks like a Stormtrooper." Then Dave's like, "Yo, it's like a cow because it's black and white. If you got the white edition." But then I like how they came with all the other different editions, and also the Phantom 410, which is the smaller version, and then the SE, and all the different editions you got with that. So it was a great case lineup. Now with the latest version of it, now this is the 820, you can get it in a few colors. Ours is in the charcoal color, it looks like it's saying here on the side of the box. As you can see, our box is taking a few hits here, down here. I'm not going to talk too much on the outside of the box. There's another hit on the back of the box here. So it's held up pretty good. So let's go ahead and crack it open. Got my bottle opener here. It's the only thing I could find, but I think it'll do the trick. It's got lots of tape, so we're good with that. Alright. Let's crack this beast open. So first thing you find in the box that I've somewhat ripped is an NZXT. Oh, you can't. Sorry, you cannot see that. Sorry. This is a little bit. Our packaging is a little different than yours. It's a review sample, so it's a tad different than what's retail. You get an extra sheet of paper, as well as in the box. It looks like we get accessories right away. So let's talk about the accessories here first. So we have a little NZXT booklet. We have some zip ties. A rubber mat for something. We'll find out in a second. We have screws, lots of screws, different screws, thumb screws, motherboard standoffs, motherboard standoff tightener, things like that. Fan screws, case screws, everything. So it's a nice little case too. So if you got a lot of screws and stuff like that, this is a good way to help organize them. What I use is I just use kind of a tomato paste jar. So if you make your own tomato sauce or paste, those glass jars, that's kind of what I use to put all my screws in. It's not very organized, so. As well as the manual here. It's a nice little booklet. So let's go ahead and continue on. Got some foam, don't care. And let's get it. So this is the gunmetal color, as you can see. Okay, so my camera stopped a little bit, so I just decided to cut ahead. We got it out of the box. It's just easier that way. I got to format the card. Once you delete so many things on my card, the camera starts stopping recording automatically. Anyways, so we got the case out of the box. Took the side panel off. It's pretty simple. You just kind of open it up a bit, and then you pull it back. You give it a good tug, and it comes off. The same way as like the Switch 810 and a bunch of other cases use this style of coming off the side panels. The Colossus by Bitphoenix and the Shinobi XL use all that style. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but whatever. It works though. Got a 200mm fan here on the side panel. Got a nice acrylic window, some ventilation. It's a little different from the old Phantom. Just one note I want to make. I don't know why, but it's every time I get a case or something large from shippers in my area where I live, they always seem to damage everything I get, almost somehow. You can somewhat see here, there is actually a dent on the side panel here and a scuff. And even with, packaging and things like that, it actually wouldn't prevent that because it was on the side of the case. And, if the shipper was careless and punctured the box deep enough that it hit the case, in our case, well, it kind of sucks. And you might have to go back to your retailer to get that sorted out, or even NZXT maybe. No, actually, you know what? That's not a warranty thing. That's the shipping thing. So maybe try to go back to your retailer. But besides that, we didn't get really any damage. That's the only damage, and that was, as I showed you guys before, there's a pretty big dent in the side of the box. So this is the interior of the case, but I'm going to show you that in a second. Let's go around to the front. So as you can see, the front is classic Phantom with a nice ventilation here for your intake fan. You got the nice door. So the door, it opens up, held on with magnetic force, unveils, you know, your expansion slots here. Actually, no, I should do it from this side because then you can hear me better. It unveils your expansion slots here. You know, your reset. I like your LED mode. The different colors you can do for the LEDs. This is, I cannot see, is the IO LED on and off. Now the Switch 810 has that as well. SD card slot, which is awesome. So that's cool. So door closes up nicely. Now going around to the other side of the case. Unlike the last Switch, which had ventilation on the, I mean not Switch, but Phantom had ventilation on the side down here for hard drives. This no longer has that, but it has this nice bevel here, and this will help with cabling and add that extra room that you need for really cabling and giving it a little bit extra more room. So that's nice. As well as, you know, as the original Phantom and the Switch 810, that's the awesome NZXT way of taking off side panels. So you just loosen this out, push that down, and you can take off your side panel without putting all the other screws on. So I'm going to go ahead and take these screws off, and then I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to do some closer up shots and I'll show you guys some of the other things. All right, so let's take a quick look at the front, you know, some of the eye-out shield out, in and out on the top of the case. As you can see, we got some USB 2s, 2 USB 3s. That's kind of nice. That rubber cover I showed you earlier goes over this to cover it up and make it nice if you want to do that. On the side here, we got a bunch of stuff. We got an assortment of things. Let's focus that up. We have a power button, a reset button. Now these are your fan controllers, speed up and speed down. Not sure what that button is yet, but in the review I'll show you exactly what that is. There's another button though. Headphone and microphone as well. We got some accent LED lightings that do go down the side of the case. And that's for the built-in hue as I showed you earlier. So let me get you a better look at that. Right there, that's nice. There's all the nice drive bays. And then it says Phantom 820 right in the case, NZXT stamped in there. Kind of nice. And as well, there's accent lights there too. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick overview of the whole kind of exterior of the interior of the case and some of the closer details that I couldn't really show you. So the inside of the case, let's go over a few of the things here. So it's got really nice rubber feet, as you can see. Trying to push the case here. It's hard. You really got to push. Hey, side panel, stop moving. I didn't tell you to move. Maybe I should put them on the ground. The case is not too heavy, empty. Once you do load it with hardware, yeah, it's going to weigh a bit more. Put a power supply in it, motherboard, you know, a big cooler, things like that. If you do a full water cooling loop in it, yeah, it's going to weigh a ton, especially when it's loaded with hard drives. I know that from experience. I had my Switch 810 loaded with every hard drive bay, plus a DVD, plus a water cooling loop, and it was way too heavy, so I did some weight reduction, took lots of hard drives out. So, but it is a full tower, and full towers are not really meant to be the most portable cases in the world. But you can still take them to LANs, and I think this one would be a sweet case to take to a LAN. So let's take a look at the inside. So as you can see, the inside of the case is cleanly laid out. They changed kind of check out the hard drive bays here. They're kind of neat looking. Nicely, you got the NZXT logo on them there. You can see that on both of them. You can remove the bottom one. Not 100% sure on the top one, but in the review I will let you guys know for sure if you can remove that top drive bay. But the bottom one, once you remove it, gives you access to 2 of the hard drives you take out. Once you do that, it allows you to do a 2x120 rad here in the bottom. So that's pretty awesome. As well as there's a 200mm fan on the front of the case. I'll show you that. You can probably see it better from the other side around. I'm not going to take the front of the case off. I'll show you that in the review though. So here's the 2x120 rad can be installed in here, or 2x140. So you got 120, 140, and as well as there's a dust filter that's easily removable from the front of the case. You can remove this with 4 screws. So that's awesome. And I'll just quickly show you the hard drive rails. With once a hard drive's in it, they come out a lot easier. So there you go. Got a lot of flex to them. So it would be super easy to install a hard drive. You just kind of flex it, put it in. For an SSD, you put the 4 screws in and it slides in nicely. So pretty cool. So slide that back in. So we got 2 hard drives going here, or 2 SSDs. Slide that in nicely. That's nice. that feels really nice. As well as, let's keep going on the bottom of the case. You can see there's our power supply goes installed. It's got dust filter as well, and the dust filter is removable from the bottom. So there's 2 dust filters on the top on this case. There's one on this side that does this much of the case, and there's a rear one that does this much of the case. You can fit a pretty long power supply in here. From my experience, I've put an Antec 1200 watt in the Switch 810, which is a very similar case, similar sized and laid out, and it fit in perfectly. So you can put a very, very large CPU cooler. Not CPU cooler, power supply, as well as there's tons of options for all your cables to go. So let's move all the included cables out of the way. So look at that. You got 2, 4, 5 different ways you can route cables out of the case here, going to your motherboard, going to the back of the case, or things coming out from the back going to your motherboard. As well as we got 9 expansion slots, 4 water cooling holes for 2 to pass through, and 120 millimeter included fan. Now these fans that are included in the case, these 120s are, not 120s, but 140, are actually really good fans. They push a good amount of air, and they're decently quiet. They're not noisy, but they're a good level, so they wouldn't really bother you if you're concerned about noise. As well as we got an included 200 millimeter fan on the top. It has a dust filter on top of it, as well as a dust filter here for if you want to install another 200, or you can do a 3x120 or a 3x140 radiator on the top of the case. So that's really awesome. You can do push-pull setups. There's plenty of room for all that. So that's really cool to see too. So it's awesome that NZXT gave you all those features. As well as we got a massive CPU cutout. I've never had any issues with my Switch 810, and it's the same one. It's massive. We got lots of rubber grommets. So we got one up there. We got a hole up there for 8-pin and other assortments of things. 2 there, 2 more there, and then we get the 5 that are down there. So, and these are really nice rubber grommets. They flex right back. We also have another hole there, another access port hole there. So that's really cool. So the inside of the case here is really nicely laid out, as well as you can move this fan up and down. It's not fixed to the one spot. You can slide it up and bring it down if you want, depending on your setup. For me, I actually move the fan up higher as intake rear air to actually cool my rad in my Switch 810. So it's really cool that they have all those features from the 810 in the Phantom 820. So that's really sweet. As well as you can store some thumb screws here if you want. That's how I did. I put a few extras. As well as here's all our external, all our I/O outs. So we got the all black cables. We got a USB 3.0 header. We have our fan controllers, stuff there. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. I'll show you that all in detail in the review. So you can control quite a bit of fans on that fan controller, and it can handle quite a bit of wattage. As well as we have all our DVD drives, or our 5 1/4 inch drive bays. Nice toolless system from NZXT. Now this system actually works really good and secures your drives quite well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 drives, and you can remove the top one if you want for extra room for your rad. That's what I've done, and it looks nice because you can see the rad a bit better. So let's move around to the back. So we're taking a quick look at the back of the case now. As you can see, there's all the cables that came out of the front of the case there, all nice and black. You can tuck them up. Look at all the different places you can tie down cables there. Really nice. It does include a 8-pin individually sleeve cable there, extension cable, which is nice to see in a full tower case, because I've had the issue where I've used some full tower cases. They didn't include it, or they included one, but it was like non-sleeved. It was just like a colored cable and looked like crap. And this was a case in the same price range as this, about $250, and that just sucked. But this one's nice, and I know a lot of power supplies sometimes have issues with these full tower cases if their cables aren't long enough. We got 6 hard drive bays, as I already showed you. 6 hard drive, bays. And I already showed you how these come out. Super easy. You access them actually from the back, which I think is actually nicer because all your cables are on back here. You pull your hard drives out from the back here. In the front of the case, it looks a lot cleaner and nicer. And that's one thing I really like about the Phantom 820. What I've seen from some builds, and I like how the Switch 810 was. And a few other NZXT cases have followed suit with this, and I really like that. As well as here is a bunch of connectors. It says right, TF. So I'm guessing this would be from the fan controller as well. So I'll definitely go over that more in depth for sure once I find out exactly what everything is. But we're just going to do a quick overview and kind of look at it, really. So as you can see, there's lots of room behind the motherboard tray. And as I noted before, so you can see there's about my finger. I'd say that's about a good 2 inches of room. And as well as that extra room from the side of the case that actually kind of bevels out. So you probably got about another extra 1.5 there. So you probably got almost 4 inches of space. Well, maybe 3 3 inches of space, I'd say 4 inches, maybe 3.5 inches at max of space behind the motherboard tray. Down in this area, up top here, you don't have as much, but you don't need as much because you're only running a couple cables up here. But most of your cables that come out of your power supply will be here, coming out here, so you need that extra room. And as I already know, with the Switch 810, it's pretty easy to build in, and the Phantom 820 is going to be even easier with that extra room there. So that's really cool. Can't wait to build in it. And that's pretty much it. So there's the case. It's got nice rubber feet on it too, so ain't moving around too much. Here, I'll show you. Let's see. It ain't going anywhere. It's actually moving my table. So there's the case. So anyways, guys, this is our quick look at this Phantom 820. So far, very nice case. We're liking it. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to build a whole system in it, do you a full review for this case, show you how it looks with a bigger video card in it, a big CPU cooler, an H100, to show you, to give you an idea of what, you know, a basic water cooling setup would look like, or how I like to put it, a poor man's water cooling solution would look like compared to a custom loop. I'm not going to put my custom loop in it because that's a lot of work just to kind of move that over, but we'll definitely show you kind of what that, later on I'll do a full custom loop in this case, so after the review. So the review should be out in about a week's time, so if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please remember to rate, thumbs up, and subscribe to the TechSource.tv, and check out our Facebook page because now we're posting daily pictures of your PCs and sharing them on our Facebook page for everyone to enjoy your awesome rig. So see you guys later, and all the links for any of the info of this video, all that is in the description of the video. See you guys.